Coming up on this episode of Brody Even Talk Pinball, we're going to interview Joe Said of PinballEdu.
We're going to talk about the latest news and updates in the pinball world, including the reveal of the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
We got a review of Whitewater Pinball by Williams, and we're going to wrap it up with some viewer emails and questions.
All that and more coming right at you.
Double super jackpot!
Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts of The Bro Show, it's Nick Lane. It's also Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball.
We didn't turn our mics on.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, let's pretend that didn't happen.
All right.
Kevin didn't turn the mic on, so we had dead air. So for those who are still there listening on the podcast, well, you missed a lot of good banter. You missed some witty banter.
Yes.
I lost my rhythm.
So it's episode 22 of the podcast.
It's Monday, November 20th.
Yes.
It's a few days before Thanksgiving. So many of you are probably traveling home to family and friends, and you might be listening to this podcast. So safe travels.
Yes.
Hope you have a good Thanksgiving and all that.
Yep.
Let's kick this out. Let's do this right. All right. We're not that rusty.
No, we're a little rusty. It's been a little bit over a month. The last show we did was we were talking to Eric Minier from Jersey Jack Pinball, but it's been great. And here we are again with another episode, and joining us. This episode, the one, the only, PinballJoe, Joe Said. How you doing? Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hey, guys.
Did you like that? Did you hear all that messing up, Joe?
I liked it, yeah. I wasn't sure if you were supposed to have that on.
Yeah. No, and before I was bragging to Kevin how we do so good live, and then, of course, we did that, so.
A little rusty.
That's how it goes.
But welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So most of you have probably seen Joe via your Twitch channel, the PinballEdu charity raffles, where he gives away a pinball machine every month or a few months. Joe, if you want to turn up your volume a little bit.
I don't know how to do that.
You sound good on mine.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. So tell us what PinballEdu is and what its mission is and what your goal is there with the center.
Okay, so PinballEdu is a concept that I came up with maybe 5.5 years ago. The initial mission was to connect people with autism and pinball kind of as a means of therapy or respite. We were really inspired by, or I was really inspired by Robert Gagno's story.
All right, hold on, Joe.
Hold on one sec.
Chat room's freaking out. All right, let's try that.
Mayday. How's that? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Chat, how's it sound?
Is it the right volume? Should I talk to you guys about things that you'd like to hear? That's one yes. Much better.
Much better. There you go. Okay.
Okay,
better.
cool.
I think the audio was feeding from the HDMI cable into the TV, which it didn't do last time, so weird crap. Don't podcast, everybody. It's a mess. But all right. Welcome aboard. You know Joe from PinballEdu and your Twitch channel. So tell us a little bit about your mission, what PinballEdu is, and what your goal is with the center.
Okay. Well, PinballEdu started as an idea of connecting pinball with people with autism, which I think now has become a more popular concept. I'd met Robert Gagno several years ago, 7 years ago, and talked to his mom and dad, and really kind of connected with that story. And then obviously having met a lot of the people in the community, I thought that might be something that would connect with more than just pinballers. And if you had autism, I guess 1 in 68 people are kids are diagnosed with autism in the United States. And so essentially everybody knows someone with autism, but not everybody has access to a pinball machine. So the idea was I have a bunch of pinball machines. Let's invite people over and see what happens. So that was about 5.5 years ago. And today, after I think maybe 11 different attempts at getting a lease, we've signed a lease in May, and we should be opening up in the next couple weeks. And the idea there is invite people in and see what's happening.
Awesome. So what do you have lined up as far as programming, anything like that? Have you thought that far in the future, or are you just let's get the doors open and then we'll work from there?
Today, it's mostly, fire alarms and making sure the pinball machines are set up, but we are working. So there's 2 components. There's an education component. So during the day, we'll have school trips, teaching STEM, history of pinball, technology, looking underneath the glass, showing a little bit, maybe like a YouTube video, that type of thing. One of our board members, Steve Marsh, has been teaching classes at Modern Pinball in New York. And he's lending different ideas to what to teach at the different grade levels. And then the other component is the autism component, and working with organizations like the ARC locally here. And I need to keep reaching out to groups. We're working with Family Services in Frederick. And there's so many, and I haven't turned the key because I haven't been wanting to say, hey, we're opening this place sometime in the future, come out. And I also didn't want to prompt, I'm going to bring 2 pinball machines for 4 hours to your place somewhere far away without a van, and doing that kind of thing. So I've been waiting for this space, and it's just been for about 2 years. It's been, okay, yeah, we're just right around the corner. So again, I'm just really excited to be able to say, hey guys, come in. And then from there, I feel like there'll be a lot of connections that'll happen. Like, oh, I've got to bring my family member, or, oh, you should talk to this person. I mean, I have all the connections, and I'm starting those conversations now. So, yeah.
Awesome. Where do you hope to be in 2, 3, 5 years from now with the center?
Well, so I'll make a little reveal. We're calling this place Spinners Pinball, and kind of the subtitle to that is PinballEdu Center. And I've always thought that this would be the first of many of these type of places. So definitely after, say, 6 months to a year, I want to be able to make a publication of these are some of the successes. These are some things that have resonated with kids or young adults, this age group, these type of programs are successful. And so through sharing that, I hope to see this concept going to different communities around the country, world. So that's a huge thing. And I don't know if I mentioned, but we're working with the YMCA to have, they're going to they're actually right across the grass in our backyard. So we hope to have them administer our summer camp program, maybe our winter camp program. We're also working with the library. So having an educational component that, or a curriculum that others can just, either download or maybe buy some things that, like a pin box, for example, and use that as one of their tools and just start it up and tell us, hey, we used crayons on this and it was a great idea. Now we've just added that. Or attract a pinball supplier, and they gave us some pop-upper caps, and instead of making really nifty logos out of them, we were able to do something incredible that doesn't exist yet. And so again, this is to be a venue for exploring the concepts of maybe therapy and then also education. So spreading that and seeing that happening around the country and world and other locations, that's a big goal, set of goals, seeing this happen somewhere else and being able to give people, if we have the recognition of as being a PinballEdu center, if that's a real value, we can give out that certification or stamp that you can get our programs at, say, Silver Ball Museum or the Seattle Pinball Museum or however. So
awesome. What's the reception been like in the community when you've gone out and talked about your vision?
There's it's usually all positive. There's the small little group that doesn't know what I'm talking about when I say pinball, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. But otherwise, they're like, wow, that's a great idea. Oh, what pinball? I walked into a guy who was taking out a candelabra. He was a brass polisher downtown Frederick. And I like these guys' stories. So I went to talk to him and I was like, yeah, I'm actually opening a pinball spot up the street. And he's like, 10 years old immediately, tells me how he has an Adams family and he bought it for $1,200 and has a small collection of games in Frederick. I think that there's thousands of people in this area that will come and these type of things will resonate, our different programs, and we'll be able to focus better. But it's generally been really positive. There's nothing like this certainly in our area. And being in the DC area, there's thousands of schools to work with.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's been super fun.
How has raising money through PinballEdu, how has that helped you to bring this to fruition?
So we've been I've done 2 major fundraisers, a Roger Sharp print, signed print. Roger's one of our advisors, and he agreed to sign a bunch of these prints of this larger, it's a 4x3 painting of the Roger Sharp photograph from 1974 or 76. And I had an local artist paint that, and he agreed to sign the Giclée reprints. So we did a big fundraiser that way. We've had a couple tournaments. Flippers just actually ended in the Outer Banks, and last year they hosted a tournament for us. But then the major fundraiser, which has raised us a considerable amount of money and allowed us to outfit this place, fix up the plumbing and the it's endless. All the things that go into opening a space has been about $50,000-$60,000 in upgrades and stuff. I'm donating. I kind of have a philosophy of that we don't need to buy pinball machines. We do own 1 or 2 games that have been donated. But myself and another donor has given the use of about 45 games. So we have that pool of games to play from. But then the major fundraiser that is going to keep our lights on is our monthly raffle, which you guys I think know a little bit about. We raffle off a new Stern game every month, and we limit it to 250 tickets, $40 a ticket, and we end up netting about $4,200. It's pretty much a 50-50 raffle with some marketing costs. So, and someone every month gets a new pinball machine, and that's completely within our mission to make more pinball out there for friends and new pinballers to join the community.
Awesome. Not a bad way to do something good. And have also a chance of winning a pinball machine.
Yep,
that's,
I'm in again this time.
yeah, seriously.
So if folks want to enter the raffle, how do they do it?
Bookmark pinballraffle.org, and that will always take you to our latest raffle. And buy a ticket, share it with your friends.
And where are you at with the current one? How long till we give it away? That's the question everybody always asks.
Right, I'm like, when I look at the thing and I see 10 more days, and I think we're about like 35% of the way, and there's so much that happens at the end of the month. So we'll see if where we're at. I usually send out a mail or 2 a week as a reminder, and do some Facebook ads and whatnot. You just have to catch someone when they have their info in front of them.
Yeah, it's like now I got 5 minutes to enter my credit card info and make it happen.
Yeah, we get about anywhere from like 150 to 175 participants for the 250 tickets every month.
That's great. And it's not just a pinball machine too. You have other prizes you give away as well.
Yeah, so Stern's been a really big supporter of me personally, as well as our raffle. So they give a signed translite. Right now we're giving away, I think, Star Wars. signed by the designer. And then Farsight Studios gives away 3 copies of Season 2 this month of the Pinball Arcade on iOS, Android, or Steam.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into pinball? Tell us your pinball origin story.
Well, other than playing in college, so I played Ultimate Frisbee, and then as a freshman, the upperclassmen were all like, "Oh, we're going to go to the Union and play World Cup soccer and stuff like that," and I just loved it. The tilts were off, I was like 19, so you have a lot of energy, and thought 2 billion on World Cup soccer was an amazing score. They had Monopoly, which we avoided playing, and then they had Simpsons, which we avoided playing. But they had Theater and Attack from Mars, and Monster Bash had just come out, and people were playing Addams Family, and I had no idea why they would play that because there's no ball save.
Right.
But played in college. But then I was, I had my previous life. I made educational materials for the blind, and I had just gotten out of that company and tried living in Los Angeles, which didn't really work out. And a friend of mine in New York said, "Hey, you should come check out New York City. There's a pinball bar right down the street," and that was that then Satellite Lounge, which is now Jack Bar. And I think you guys know Francesco.
Yep.
He ran a tournament pretty quickly, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta try winning a pinball tournament. What the hell's that?" And got 8th or something, playing with Steve Bowden and Sanjay and Frank and all the guys there, and just got hooked. And from there, just played in about 300 other tournaments and traveled playing. We started a couple leagues in New York. I played in the New Jersey Pinball Association. Then went to Indiana, started a league there. Was trying to get in the Chicago League. I just got the bug. I tried operating. I thought at one point there was free money if you were to put a pinball machine out, that like money would just show up. So I bought a World Cup soccer and 2 Avatar machines, and I was going to be the distributor for New York City, which there wasn't one at the time. But that business is so complicated. And not as easy as just putting a bill acceptor on a pinball machine somewhere.
This guy knows that story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely cool owning machines, but it's much cooler having like your collection in the background, or operating it at your own venue. So I am excited about having control over the machines. I can swap them in and out depending. I can host events that are tailored towards the machines that we have, and I can watch how people play them rather than just leaving them somewhere like a Coke machine. So yeah, I got in. The IFPA hooked me. I wanted to be number 1 for a while. And then I was like, that's not ever going to happen.
How close did you get? What was your highest rank?
67,
Damn.
69, something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like with this stuff, I played in 3 or 4 tournaments this year. And yeah, I still love it. Of course, it's just takes a whole day, if not 2 days, if you're traveling somewhere. Like I love you guys' event, but I couldn't make it this year. Just too much going on. But that's like a full 3 days.
Yep.
The Sanctum, the 24-hour tournament, that just destroys you afterwards.
Did you play? Have you played in that?
Played in the first year and got 3rd.
Okay. I've been considering doing it. Should I do it?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things you need to do at least once.
Doesn't Joe have like a million cups of coffee?
I don't know. Do you?
Joe, you drink a lot of coffee, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I can
drink
keep
it
up
till
with
like
yeah, you
midnight.
coffee drinkers, man.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I got my Red Bull over here, so I'm good.
It doesn't matter at like hour 23. You hate everybody and pinball.
They were streaming some of it, so I tuned in like 10 a.m. the next morning, and everybody's just like a zombie.
I actually live streamed their first event.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not for a huge audience or anything, and I certainly wasn't sitting there doing commentary, but we had the camera overshadow for like the whole time, and I think it malfunctioned like every other round or something. No, yeah, you should definitely do it. You guys should do your own.
A 24-hour one.
That's okay. Kevin can run it.
I don't know. I think I'd have to go try theirs first and see if I survive.
I mean, the longest I play, maybe like 12 hours is what I've hit like playing in a tournament, and then it's just like I'm done, man.
Yeah.
I love pinball. Like pinball is so passionate, but
Yeah.
everything has its limits to me.
So you mentioned streaming on Twitch. You got into streaming pinball on Twitch super early. Tell us about like how you discovered Twitch and maybe kind of made that connection between pinball and broadcasting, and you brought it. You have a gigantic following on Twitch. Like, how did it all happen?
So I actually, when I was the one thing that happened in Los Angeles is I got involved with a live streaming company in 2007. So I can't even remember what we were using. It was either Ustream or Livestream.com, and we were live streaming conferences. So there'd be like a talk or a venture capital something or other, and we were excited. I was a lot younger, and we were excited just even to be there. And we got invited to go to these crazy like conferences where you'd have to pay like literally $2,000 to go. And so we were recording the speeches there and live streaming them and then archiving them and saving them for people to watch otherwise. And actually, I think there was a broadcast in 2012, or maybe it was just video that was done. And I sat with, Mark Steinman and Bone Cairns at what was it called? Burgatory. I said, you guys need to live stream. And they were like, no, we can't do it. It's too slow or something like that. And I was like, there's no way. I'm not like an expert on video or anything, but we had done live streaming already. And I figured even if the ball was slow, you know how we started off, the ball was real slow and stuff. Yeah. It took no convincing. They were like, okay, let's try that. Let's try this. And they actually found Twitch. I was like, I just said, I know the technology's there. Why don't you give it a try? And I think shortly after, they launched their Papa TV Kickstarter, and that they started it, you know. And it was, I think it was really awesome. I think it's still really awesome. And so, yeah, they found Twitch. I had no idea what to do. And I was like, oh, Twitch. And then I was like watching Street Fighter on there and just floored by it. Then I actually, you asked, then I found the Games Done Quick event, and it was right down the street from where I lived. And I was like, oh, they're playing these. This is incredible. I didn't even know this existed. Then the year after I found out about it, they contacted me and were like, hey, can you bring pinball machines to this thing? And I'm like, I'm already going to go to this. This is amazing. You just sleep on the couch or behind the couch while people are playing all these games that I'd not necessarily ever heard of. Yeah, of course I'll bring pinball machines. And then I actually asked Papa if they were just launching Replay FX. And I was like, hey, we'll talk about Replay FX because they're going to let me stream. Could you loan me some games for the week? And they gave me all these A titles to use. Don't ask them; they're not going to lend you machines anymore. But they were super cool. Met John Rapogle out in the ice, loaded up a U-Haul, drove him back, and Chris Newsom, who some of you know, just came over, and we were streaming pinball. And they, because of that, they would raid my channel and things that I wasn't even PinballJoe then. They actually said, "Oh, you should be PinballJoe."
No kidding.
Because I was Joe Said on Twitch at the beginning. I was like, "Oh, I should be PinballJoe because pinball that makes sense. Everybody will know what this is then." And then it just took off, and then I was invited. I was invited again, and then I had Jack Danger help host. Invited him because he was one of the only people doing it then, and I thought that he was doing a really great job. Then we did a couple more events, and then we did like 5 events, and it just kind of exploded, right? It just we get they were really cool. They raid our channel at the end. You'd been involved, Kevin. Yep. And the idea with that is if I'm not really a live streamer. That's the thing. I was doing it because it was cool, and I enjoy it now. But it's not necessarily my personality to be up on stage. And I just figured if we get a bunch of viewers, that's going to bleed into pinball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, and now I think we have a pretty cool community on Twitch. So, and like some people are doing YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube has its advantages. I mean, you can export YouTube. We have all these videos. I think like pinballvideos.com even has like a system of collecting them. And,
they kind of aggregate them all and highlight the different games and tournaments. So if there's like an 8-hour tournament, it'll like jump you right to the certain game, or if there's a tutorial, they put a lot of our videos up too, so it's great. The
more people creating pinball content, the better the content is, right? Like we could do a video and if we're the only people, we could have a bad day and it sucks and then we never redo it. But if you're doing it and this guy's doing it and this other guy's doing it, one of those is going to be really great. And I think we do an okay job of saluting the people that are did the best one or whatever. Because one is for prosperity and maybe the others just end up giving practice. I don't know. Yeah, it's complicated. You want to congratulate everybody for participating.
Yeah, for sure. The pinball community is really great about that. About propping each other up because nobody's making $1 million doing pinball stuff. We're all just it's a hobby. We all get involved in it to varying degrees. You can repair machines, you can operate machines, you can stream on Twitch, you can play competitively. That's what makes it so awesome.
You can start a league, you can contribute to different rule strategies, or you can just be cool at an event and tell your opponent how to beat you.
Right.
Steve Bowden taught me to do that right after you beat them. Like you'll tell them how to play after the game's over.
Yes.
And I was like, really? He actually, I don't know why he did this. I remember one of the first tournaments I played, we were playing Championship Pub. And some guy, I was playing in a group and I was like doing really well. I was playing a group with him and he asked Steve, I was like, how do you play this game? And he just started telling him how to play. And this was like 7-8 years ago when like there wasn't all the videos or whatever. And I asked him, I was like, why did you tell him how to play? Because that seemed counterintuitive. And he was like, I want to beat the person because I played better, not because I just knew something they didn't. And I was like, wow.
Uh-huh.
And so I tried to emulate that. But I think someone else tell them afterwards because I'm not good enough to always win, right? So maybe Steve was back then.
That's my strategy. I'm like, I'll tell you after the game.
Yeah.
And speaking of Twitch, I just want to thank Joe Said on behalf of Buffalo Pinball. I don't know if our viewers know this, but Joe helped us to get partnered with Twitch, which really elevates the status of our channel. It puts us on the homepage, a few times a year, and that exposes pinball to more people. So thank you, Joe. If it wasn't for Joe, that wouldn't have happened.
Cheers
and
to Joe.
Honestly, I think there's probably a lot of people, because we got elevated, who now follow our channel, might be watching right now. So thank you so much. That was generous of you, and we appreciate it, Joe.
You guys are doing it. I'm not necessarily somebody that would do what it takes so much work to do what you're doing. Like even you've been doing it 22 times and can't unmute your mic properly.
There's so many steps.
There's so many little things to do, and the fact that there are so many people that are making that effort. I mean, I would make the effort. I just don't. It's not my personality. I don't even necessarily have the content. I am going to start streaming a little bit to tell people about our charity.
Awesome.
That actually is the reason that I started streaming and being able to take it seriously is because I had the opportunity to stream for charity. And then while I was starting our charity, I was like, well, if I'm a personality, then I can help raise money for our charity. So I've worked with Prevent Cancer Foundation and Doctors Without Borders quite a bit, and they've taught me a lot about running a charity. And so that mentorship has been huge. But then also we get a few donors from it. If they've donated to PinballJoe again for one cause, they might for another. So that's kind of why that's why I'm PinballJoe, I guess.
Awesome. Well, anything else you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
I feel like I've talked a lot. No, I really love the pinball community. I'm glad to be on.
All right. So,
Yeah.
with that, how can people connect with PinballEdu if they want to learn more about you, stay connected with the charity, and see your progress moving forward?
I think the best way is facebook.com PinballEdu. I try to post updates there. If you send us an email at pinballedu@gmail.com, I can put you on our mailing list and whatnot.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for all you do. Hopefully, you'll make your way up to Buffalo sometime, maybe for the summer open. Can sail up here if you know what I mean, Kev.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Sail away, bro. All right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, check out PinballEdu and get in on one of those raffles.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Cool,
Take
Joe.
care, Joe.
We'll see you.
All
See
right,
ya.
Later.
All right. Off to the news, which it's been a lot happening in pinball this year.
Oh man, dude. So our last podcast, we were out at Expo unveiling the new Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
With Jersey Jack, and everybody was hyped about that. Now, a month later, everybody's getting hyped on Guardians of the Galaxy from Stern. So it initially got unveiled a week or two ago?
A couple weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
So they said, here's Guardians of the Galaxy. There were some rumors around about it, I think. So it wasn't a total surprise, but they did a pretty good job keeping this one under wraps. So you didn't see the leaks kind of that happened with Ghostbusters where pictures started leaking out and stuff like that.
I don't think we didn't see any pictures or anything like that. I think the theme is not a surprise.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that's been tossed out there.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a good theme for pinball. But right now you're seeing this is the Pro cabinet. As always, they did the Pro Premium and LE. There we go. This is the Premium. Honestly, it's not a huge difference between the Pro and the Premium.
No, I
cabinet
wouldn't even know the difference. It's not obvious. A
yeah.
lot of times they are, right? Totally different color scheme almost.
Yep. And then the LE, the biggest difference on the LE is the gold armor, which
recycled armor from WWE.
People are speculating that that's what that is. The playfield, every time a new pinball machine comes out, people like to take the playfield of the new machine and overlay it with an old machine that has a similar layout.
It's kind of easy these days
Yeah.
because I'm gonna say, this looks exactly like Metallica to me, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing,
right?
But it looks like Metallica.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Like almost 100% like Metallica.
Yep.
Not like, this side is similar to Metallica, but then this is different. Like, no.
It's Sparky in the middle. You got the fuel lane on the left. You got instead of the stand-up inline drop targets, you got the kickback from Rocket. So that's a little bit more like Iron Man. And then over on the right, you got, what is that? There's like a drop target. Let me get the closer in shot. Yeah, so you got a drop target where the hammer would be.
Yep.
And then this is the ramp.
Then the spinner. No spinner on the Pro, just like Metallica,
man.
Which is a bummer, man.
And then you got the crank it up
scoop.
scoop on the right.
Uh-huh.
And there you go. That's your Guardians of the Galaxy Metallica.
So, if you have Metallica, are you buying the same game? I don't know.
They
all play, it's interesting because like Tron is like other games. Tron's got Funhouse or Congo or there's some Tommy or etc. But it still feels like a distinct game. So it's not something that you write off just because it is similar. But if you're looking for something innovative, it can be a little disappointing.
Probably the two most similar games recently, aside from like straight up rethemes, are Kiss and Aerosmith.
Yeah, another Borg game, but then again, Borg's my favorite designer, so I'm sure it's going to play great.
Yeah,
sure it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, when the pictures of this came out, I was pretty hyped. I like me a good board game. This one looks great. I don't own a Metallica or an Iron Man.
The art looks super busy though, man. I can't draw any distinct pieces out from the art because it looks like a mishmash of just like, I know people love it.
Oh yeah,
I know people are really excited. I got to see it in person, but the pictures, I'm sort of like, I can't make heads or tails of what's going on it.
Yeah,
is that fair though? That's not.
It's very busy.
I feel like I'm in the minority though because people like it a lot.
Chris Franchi's art doesn't get me as hyped as like Dirty Donnie or Zombie Yeti.
What else has he done?
He did Batman 66 as well.
Okay, but like it's interesting because Batman 66 is kind of cleaner. and distinct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, right, he's going off the theme of Guardians of the Galaxy, so I understand the color schemes, but the first impression is like, oh my God, this is really super busy and overwhelming. Now, anytime you see these in person, you're like, oh, looks great, it makes sense.
Right, and
so
it's always going to look better in person.
I'm sure we'll have that opinion.
Yeah,
when we see
I
it.
didn't have the reaction I had when I first saw Star Wars, where I'm like, what is this garbage?
Right.
I think this
That's
game,
a direct quote from Kevin.
where does this fall somewhere between like Metallica and Ghostbusters and Star Wars or Game of Thrones. It's in the middle as far as I'm concerned, as far as art quality. Good colorful game. Looks great.
Fits the theme.
I just prefer that line art style over the Chris Franchi style.
Okay. And we don't know much more about the game. It's got magnets.
Yeah, there's 3 on the premium and LE and 1 on the pro, I think.
Okay.
And the big difference between the pro, one of the big differences between the pro and the premium LE is the big Groot hands that reach out to the playfield.
But someone's going to mod that.
Because
Because it doesn't do it.
I know,
It
it's
doesn't
just
interact.
a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Someone's going to bust their 3D printer out and recreate
So
the hands.
the
Spinner.
pro premium / LE differences are they seem minimal.
Yeah.
They seem like cosmetic at best. I think it comes with a shaker motor though, the LE.
It does, yeah.
And it comes with a real backlash, right?
If you think about that's kind of a Borg thing, I think, right? Because if you think about Metallica Pro versus the premium LE, there's not huge gameplay differences.
Or like Kiss.
Kiss,
Yeah, that too. Or, I guess
Walking
Aerosmith
Dead.
has a more significant difference.
Walking Dead has the button, and they work that in via code.
Walking Dead has more, though. Walking Dead's got another magnet. It's got the ramp that lifts up. It's got the spinners. It's got the arrow that moves.
Yeah.
It's got the fish. The cosmetic the fish tank. But it still has more.
The big gameplay difference, though, is the walker bombs.
Yeah, which is an instant buy for me for premium.
Right.
But,
So,
anyways,
that's Guardians of the Galaxy. I think at first I was super hyped on it, and I've kind of like cooled off on it a little bit. I want to see, it's always how long is it going to take for the code to get updated?
I don't think it's going to be good because the word on the street is this was not the next game in line.
Okay.
All right. So there was another game that was supposed to be released, which is why Stern didn't have a game to release at Expo.
Okay.
I think it was a Trudeau game, and he's not there.
Yes.
So they had to bump this up. So again, that sucks for Stern because if that's true, they didn't do anything wrong in this case. I mean, that is horrible luck, whatever you want to call it. But the sad thing is we're going to get a game that's not it's half baked right now. It sounds like from what we'll see. We're getting one for the business, so we should have one maybe next week.
Awesome.
Maybe next week. So
where's it going if people are in Buffalo and they want to play?
It's going to go to, and you heard it here first, Thin Man Brewery, which is a new location for us.
Boom.
We added 2 new locations since we were last on.
That's awesome. So Thin Man Brewery, and what's the other one?
Resurgence.
Nice.
Another
Good for you
brewery.
guys.
Yeah.
Making pinball happen in Buffalo.
We are, man. It's getting crazy.
So while we're talking Guardians of the Galaxy, we got a poll going in chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can vote at bit.ly/Pirate Guardians, or if you're listening as well, you can go there and vote. I threw this out on Twitter and our Discord earlier, and people are hyped for Pirates of the Caribbean. 14 votes to 5.
The hype is real, man.
Yeah, man. I have to agree with that. So far, based on what I've seen of Guardians, I mean, we have the benefit of having played Pirates, but not Guardians yet. But
it's innovative, man. There's something to get excited for because there's new stuff, right? You're like, oh, I've never seen this before. That's super cool.
Right. People get excited about that, and I can appreciate that. When you look at a game and you see, well, the rules are kind of like Aerosmith, and the layout's kind of
I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Yeah. But it's just
interesting.
It's not that same level of hype when you first see it.
Right. That's fair. That's a good way to put it.
Exactly.
It's great that we got more pinball machines coming out.
It is.
I'm happy.
Absolutely. All right. Let's.
I gotta apologize. I got a cold, by the way. So if I cough or all that stuff,
you might as well just go home.
Seriously. That's what we had. We were gonna do the podcast last week. I'm like, I'm not feeling well.
Delayed it.
So
still hanging
at this point, I would never do a podcast if I waited for that.
Yes. All right. So let's dig through some other of the top news. Guardians obviously was the top news of the month, but there's been some tournaments. The New York City Pinball Championships that were announced. That's coming up May 18th to 20th, 2018. details, you can check that out at nycpinballchamps.com.
It's awesome. New York City deserves a big tournament. A lot of great players down there. It's about time they got one. So good for them, man.
So they have tournaments all the time, but nothing like real big, huge tournament there. I think they're pushing to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're pushing to get on the circuit.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Yeah. It's New York City.
They got great players, great scene out there. So
they got people from Jersey that will come, and you know, I mean, like the New England area kind of deal. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Other tournament stuff, the Heads Up Pinball Championship took place on October 28th. Congratulations to the winner, Raymond Davidson. He won himself a brand new Aerosmith pinball machine.
That's awesome.
He was on the Slam Tilt podcast.
I heard that.
And
he's got it dialed in, too.
Yeah, and he went like the night before and bought his ticket. He decided to go, and then he flew down that day and won the whole thing. So
that's crazy.
He made the right choice.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Raymond. Other tournament news. The Sanctum final battle took place on November 4th, and mad boss of the Papa Circuit this year, Trent Augenstein, won.
Trent won?
Yeah.
Cool.
And he just won the flippers.
Oh, my God. That's right. I just saw him.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
He's on fire. I posted the NBA Jam GIF in that thread because he's on fire. So
that's cool.
Congratulations,
I see
Trent.
what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense now.
Yep. All right. That's tournaments. Stern of the Union. That's a new thing we haven't talked about on the podcast yet.
Yeah, go for it. It's all you.
Stern of the Union is a new initiative they took up where every month Stern is going to go ahead and give us an update on what they're working on, where the code is, and that's like the thing that people have really taken to. Like, you want to know if, like, I own a Ghostbusters, I want to know when the next code is coming out, if they're even working on code. So they have said they're working on code updates for Star Wars, Batman 66, Ghostbusters, Aerosmith, and even Kiss is going to
That's great. Dude, Zach, you're doing a great job, man.
Good job, Zach.
That's what people wanted for years.
Mm-hmm.
And you did it. Yeah. So thank you for executing on that and just letting people know. Communication.
As a communication
Super
pro,
important.
I totally appreciate it.
It seems so easy, but it must not be.
You got to have somebody that's thinking of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you're a manufacturer and you're manufacturing pinballs, that's what you're concerned about.
Good job.
But you got to tell people what you're working on, too. So good job with that. We look forward to more Stern of the Union coming up in the months ahead. We have a correction to issue. So not the last podcast, but the podcast before that, we had Ben on. Ben, who you may have seen on our Brody Even Pinball show. He came out and played Bone Busters with us, much to his chagrin, and left early with most everybody else. But we had him on at the beginning of August, and we talked about the difference between original Medieval Madness flippers and Medieval Madness remake flippers, and same with Attack from Mars. And so, like any good science, he went back and retested his theory and his methods and found out that the difference, there really isn't much difference in the delay on the flippers. So,
my God, the amount of sleep people lost over that is incalculable. I heard that the Pinball University has taken away his honorary degree for bunk science.
No more pinball PhD.
So, yeah.
But we would be remiss not to mention that in case you for some reason, listen to this podcast to get all your pinball news.
Yeah.
We wanted to update everybody on that.
So don't burn the game?
I guess not.
Okay.
But the mystery remains, what is the difference?
Something's up.
Top pinball players say there's something.
I believe
feels
something's
different
up. I'm in that camp.
But it's just not that.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet.
Fair enough.
Yes, fake news. We're
fake news.
Except we're owning up to it, so I feel like we're making good.
Well, speaking of fake news, our friend and friend of the show, Ed Robertson, has a new album out with Bare Naked Ladies, Fake Nudes. So go check it out.
This is amazing.
He needs the help, so buy a couple albums or something.
They're this startup band.
Yeah.
You can find them on Bandcamp. They're really, they're bootstrapping right now. So they need throw a couple bucks their way and buy Fake Nudes. What else we got? Let's talk about some Buffalo stuff.
Okay.
So we had the Fall Brawl. What was the Fall Brawl? Give us a rundown of what that was.
It should have been called Fall Brawl Bra.
Bruh.
The Fall Brawl was a match play tournament. We had it 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. 1 week ago.
Would you
and
say
it was
it's
at
been
GameOn LAN.
1 week since we?
I'm not playing that game, Kevin. So don't get cute. All right, not feeling well. No one appreciates it.
Ed appreciated it.
Yeah, so had it. Adam Becker came down. Thanks to Kevin. Kevin summoned Adam Becker to come down and win it.
That plays into my game room update.
So we were all playing for second place, which was taken by Bruce Nightingale, and I took third. So Adam's an awesome player. It's always great to have Adam down here. He bought Kevin's Viking.
He did.
So that was a good tournament. We had like 29 people show up.
Yeah, it was great. Decent turnout from Canada, like 4 or 5 players from Canada.
Love to see our Canadian friends. Thanks for coming down, guys, if you're listening.
Jeff Teolis from Pinball Profile joined us.
Jeff Teolis, local. He's not local. He's international celebrity, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Find him on
For
Facebook
us.
and also on Twitter, and subscribe on iTunes.
And then what else we got? Oh, so it looks like I'm going to be running the New York State Finals.
Yeah.
So Francesco and Josh Sharp reached out to me because Francesco cannot run the finals. I don't know why, but he can't. So I said I would help. So I guess on January 20th, I'm running it.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be at GameOn. So, yeah.
And we think we're going to be able to stream it for everybody.
Yes. That's cool. I mean, now that we're sort of in the mix because we had to move a league night. Like, we weren't going to play in it or participate. We just got so much going on, but we're happy to help out. But now that we're in the mix, we'll stream it. So if that happens, it looks like it will, you guys will get to watch some of the best players in the state compete.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So you and I went to the state finals like 3 years ago. And it was fun. We played at a laundromat, the best pinball laundromat in the world, Sunshine Laundromat.
This is one of the best memories of just getting hit by like somebody trying to do laundry at like 11 a.m. on a Saturday while we're playing the New York State Finals.
Yep, and he had
on
his
these
dog walking around
quality
in there.
machines.
Yeah,
a dog hit me. It was a unique experience. Kevin and I flew all the way down there just to play each other.
Yeah, in the first round, I went out. I played Nick in a best of 7 series.
Yeah,
and
we both played horrible. By the way,
these were the worst games.
Played so remedial.
Yeah. And so I got to play Nick like 5 games, and then just sit around and play pinball by myself the rest of the day because one of us had to lose.
It was an experience.
We did it
once, right? No, I've done it twice.
Okay,
I went the year before.
It must have been right.
It was at Jack Bar, I think, the first year I went down.
Okay,
I think so. Yeah,
right.
Something like that.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm happy to have gone to the old Sunshine Laundromat.
Got to stay at Ron Hallett's house. That was that adventure.
I didn't do that. That was
from the Slam Tilt podcast. So.
I heard it was a little chilly.
Yeah, he didn't put Ron's probably listening. Ron didn't put the heat on. He tried to freeze me to death, but I survived.
He knew someday you would have a competing podcast. And
I know.
He was trying to put you out before the competition started.
Touche, Ron Hallett.
Well played, sir. Awesome. So that's the state championships. Hopefully coming to GameOn January 20th, and look for it on Twitch. We'll be streaming it all day. All right, and Stern Pro Circuit. We want to talk about that?
We got a message, an email today.
Yep.
So we're on the Stern Pro Circuit, which is it was the Papa Circuit. It's turned into the Stern Pro Circuit. So we're going to be hosting a is it a major or not major? How's that work?
I don't know if
they've
been
even do
designated
anything.
a major yet, or if that's
so
even
we're
a
on the
thing
circuit.
Anymore.
We're one of 20 right now. Our tournament's going to be, I think, the 17th through 19th, whatever that Friday through Sunday is.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be
calendars.
a new location, new and improved. We're going to have more techs. The games are going to be in even better shape. And Kevin and I were just scouting out a location on Sunday, which we're pretty damn excited about. And we actually referenced it earlier this podcast. We gave a little clue that nobody's ever going to figure out.
Yep.
It's impossible. But, we got to have a little fun. So we'll name and list that once that is confirmed, hopefully in the next month or so.
It's going to be in a location, I guarantee this type of location has never been used for a pinball tournament.
It has
before.
Not.
Never.
This has never been used before.
You're going to see this
We're doing
everywhere
it.
soon.
We're doing
You're going to
it.
see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, probably not, but you'll at least see it in Buffalo.
Yes.
I'm really excited to unveil this. The wheels are turning. I got big ideas.
I'm going to buy a special tire for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
All right.
There's going to be more room to move around, too. We should be remiss not to mention that,
so
more room to play.
We solved a couple problems. One, there was problems with classics, and the issue was we ran the tournament, but we didn't have control of the machines. They were not our machines. Now we have complete control of the venue and complete control of the machines, so they're going to be in better shape. We expect less issues. You never know what's going to happen with machines,
Pinballs
but
are going to break.
We're going to have that control now, which is great.
Yep.
What else do I want to mention?
Good air conditioning.
Good air conditioning.
Amazing view.
Yes, it's not going to be as congested. The view is going to be amazing. You're going to be able to breathe. You're going to be able to go outside and relax. There's another a tip.
Yep.
It's going to be closer to Niagara Falls.
Yep.
So you can do that. It's going to be close to the Niagara Falls Casino and stuff like that. So
we don't want to give away too much.
That's a bunch.
That's enough.
If that happens.
Scribble, it is not Buffalo Wild Wings. It's also not a highway rest stop Wildcat. But thanks for guessing.
That was close, though. Highway rest stop, really close. Just, okay. I'm just joking. That scares some people.
It's right there.
I'm excited. So that's, we got to talk about.
Yeah,
a little
we're
bit.
excited. So let's talk about game room updates. So we mentioned this before, but Viking is out. I threw my hands up in the air. I got beyond frustrated with it, and I said, "Get this thing out of here." I'm sick of screwing around with it. I can't figure out why the saucer at the top isn't working, why it wasn't consistently kicking out. So Adam Becker bought it. Actually, I posted that on Facebook and Pinside, and I got more interest in that game than like any other game. And anybody who watched me shop that out or play it on Twitch knows there's like a big chunk of art missing in the middle of the
I would
play
never
field.
touch that game. Yeah.
The cabinet was like painted over, and I was very clear about all of this, and pictures of the game described what was wrong with it. People don't care. People love that game. And
People like it.
It doesn't come up for sale that often, I guess. So,
It's a cool game.
it's a great game. If I could have gotten it working, I would have kept it longer, and at least we've done a bro show on it. But it's open. It was playing it this weekend. So I was wondering because I saw Adam had everybody over for Pinball for Change, right?
That's cool.
So I'm glad it was up and running. So it ended up being a transistor, I guess, on the board. I said, well, transistors are beyond my level of capability in pinball right now. So
Speaking of Pinball for Change,
Yeah.
we'll give a plug because Walt is having his event. I think we're going to go to on December 30th. Does that date sound right?
it sounds right. It's right at the end of the year.
Saturday, December 30th. And then, do we have a plug for Path to Play that we're going to be involved in next
didn't.
week?
I meant to put it on there, but we can do it right now because he's in chat.
All right, so there we go. So on December 2nd, Kevin, Martha, and myself will be going up to Mike Primo's place to do a Saturday of Path to Play stuff. So we're going to play some pinball. I think we're going to play some board games, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun, so make sure to tune in then.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to entertain you guys.
Yes. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully we'll play some dialed in.
We'll have a lot of Jay jokes because he won't be there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if he was there, we'd have Jay.
Well, that's true, but maybe more.
Yeah. He sets us up for more of them. But, yeah, it's a good time. What else? Oh, so Viking was out, but in its place behind me, if you're watching the video, is the one, the only Bonebusters. And, people love Bonebusters. We streamed it on
they don't.
Pretty Even Pinball.
That's a lie,
People
Kevin.
had nothing but good things to say about Bonebusters.
Kevin's lying to all of you. If you're listening in this car and you're screaming bullshit, you're absolutely right.
Steve Bowden posted about it on Facebook. He posted our video on Facebook, and people were like, "Oh, I love that game."
Maybe if I say the game's horrible, people are going to, it's not that bad, but it falls somewhere in the middle of being horrible and Maz's at best.
Have you heard the one about the traveling salesman?
Right, Kevin, that's what the game says.
It's
Horrible.
So bad. But I think on one of the previous episodes, I had just gotten it, and it was in terrible shape. I had to replace the MPU board on it, give it a full shop out with sweet pink Titan rings. Which, speaking of, we never gave our plug to our partners. We'll have to do that.
Speaking of
after
which.
this. It's all falling apart here, folks. What else did I do? I had to fix the upper flipper. I had to do a bunch of ground mods on it. If you've ever owned a Gottlieb System 80 or 80B, you have to do ground mods. That was the thing I didn't know about until I owned Bonebusters. But the good news is it's back up and running, and I'll get to torture everybody in the Buffalo Pinball League with it in January if they decide to play it.
Well, good news, folks in the chat who say they want Bonebusters. Kevin's going to sell it eventually.
Oh, yeah.
So
I gotta make some Guardians of the Pirates of the Caribbean money.
Damn right. Did we even announce that? We're in.
Yeah.
We haven't said that since the last podcast. Kevin and I are buying Pirates of the Caribbean.
We are. We're each getting one.
We're standing by that, man. Money in hand.
Yep.
Great game.
Yep. It's amazing. Can't wait to get it. And the last gamer update that we have is that we both got our dialed ins too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That game's awesome,
Dude.
And the new code update 1.5. Like, you take a game that's just like phenomenal and they've made it even better with just the choreography, the lighting, the rules. Another thing I noticed recently, as you get farther into the modes, and it's such a small thing, but the music gets faster. So, which is kind of like that music that's always playing in the background that gets in your head, right? It's
After
awesome.
you get like 6 modes in, and so you start noticing it, you're like, oh man.
It's just the little things, the attention to detail in that game, unlike any other pinball machine that I've played.
Yeah.
Phenomenal game. I can unabashedly say, and I know Jack's our partner and all, not getting paid to say this. If you have the means to get a game like this, it's an expensive game, so don't sell a kidney or anything. But if you have the means to get that game, I highly recommend it. It is something special.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's definitely among my top games of all time right now. I know we're still kind of in the honeymoon phase, but the more I play it, it's like I just play it and I play it, and I'm never like, I'm kind of done with this. It's always so impressive. I love, like, even the animation when you get an extra ball is just like, it's like mind blowing. All the light show and the choreography. I love the display, the attention to detail they put into the animations on the display. They have like water on the screen and stuff like that.
It's the small things, man. You start to notice it. Like it's already polished enough, and you're like, oh man, they added more on top. I mean, I didn't even know they could do more.
Yeah. I'm gonna go play Dialed In. You can finish the podcast.
Yeah,
all right.
It's cool. It's a cool game.
All right, so let's get into your game room updates.
My game room update. I had misfortune about 2 weeks ago, so my
did?
basement flooded, or water started leaking in because the sub pump broke, and that sucks, man. That's where all my games are. It wasn't like. It was just like pooling in, starting to fill up. Mm-hmm. We caught it kind of in time. So other than just like losing a night of sleep and getting sick because of it, that's when I started getting sick.
Yep.
Let me think. Nothing really got destroyed except for the bar downstairs. So there's like a wooden bar and it had like soaked up the water and it's just done. So we had to trash that. The interesting thing though, something about God closing doors and windows and stuff. I don't know why he's doing that, but whatever.
You
get
kept
the
window closed and kept the rain out.
Seriously. Come on, God. Martha's like, we can fit 3 pinball machines where the bar was. Like,
I think I was the one that said that.
Did
first.
you?
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Kevin.
First. You're welcome.
Right there.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, now we got to buy a new bar. I'm like, dude, you got room for more pinball machines.
It's stuck. She was down there measuring.
Yes.
This is
You
like
are welcome, sir.
This is like crazy land.
Yeah.
Like she's pushing for it. So maybe we'll get more pinball machines. Put some classics down there.
So not only that, but you also got the alternate pinball room upstairs, right? How's that coming?
Yeah,
along?
we got a new pinball room upstairs. Well, the alternate pinball room.
The pinball annex.
So Bad Girls is in there, and Dialed In is in there, and it's got a spot reserved for Jersey Jack, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh man.
So it's kind of like a JJP room.
It is.
With the beautiful Gottlieb game.
With a little Bad Girls in between.
Yeah. So it's all good. I recovered nicely.
Pinball Undesirables wants me to talk to his wife about interior decorating. All right, we'll get on that.
We'll sort of got a segment on that.
We can talk to some of that stuff later.
That's a good segue.
In the Pinball Lifestyle Agreement.
That's actually up next.
Before
right?
we get to that, why don't we thank our partners?
Yeah, let's do that.
So thank you to Comet Pinball. All these folks make the podcasts and stream and everything possible. CometPinball.com if you need LEDs for your pinball machines. They make amazing LEDs. My favorites are the Sunlight 2 SMD LEDs. If you go there and they have a bunch of options and you're like, I don't know where to start, just get a whole bunch of those. I love those. Double Danger, ddpinball.com. Save 15% when you use coupon code Buffalo. You can get shirts, hats, sweatshirts, work shirts. You can even get yourself a nice polo and wear it to work.
Yeah.
A little pinball skull on it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Double Danger. Pinball Life, pinballlife.com. Or you can call 847-515-3415 if you want to talk to a human being on the phone. I don't know. Maybe he likes that. I'm not a phone guy. But, yeah, everybody call Pinball Life and tell them you heard about it on Buffalo Pinball. Jersey Jack, jerseyjackpinball.com, maker of Wizard of Oz, The Hobbit, Dialed In, which we were talking about, and the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean. Check them out, jerseyjackpinball.com. Titan Pinball, titanpinball.com. Save 10% with coupon code Buffalo. You can get, if you have a Bone Busters, you can get amazing pink rings for your pinball machine, or Bad Girls. Pink works on both. Community Beer Works, if you're in Buffalo and you're thirsty, you want some beer, go to Community Beer Works. They have a Star Wars there right now. It's going to be getting swapped out for something else soon, I think. But check out communitybeerworks.com. Pin Stadium Lights, maker of a mod that lights your pinball machine up like nothing else. So if you saw us stream this, I've installed it on Tron and Swords of Fury. Scott was nice enough to send me 2 kits so I could install them on stream and show you guys the difference. What's great about them is you can customize them. You can crank them all the way up if you got a super dark game like my Swords of Fury, or like my Tron, already had awesome Comet LEDs in it, but I put them in and dialed it down using the app. Got the mood right. I didn't want to have the rope lights washed out on them, so I dialed it in right where I like it to be. Looks amazing. So visit pinstadium.com, use coupon code Buffalo to save 10%. Pinball Arcade, pinballarcade.com. They're the makers of virtual recreations of real pinball machines. It's their fault that we're doing this right now, basically. So, if you want to get into pinball and learn more about it, check out Pinball Arcade. And last but not least, Tilt Cycle, Dan Burfield, tiltcycle.com. You can get amazing art. I've got this awesome pinball sign that's made out of old print letters, and it's got these little switches on it from pinball machines, and it's just awesome. He just does such a great job. So visit tiltcycle.com, use coupon code Buffalo, save 20%. He'll even do commission jobs and things like that. So
see, if I do a bar, I'm gonna reach out to Dan
and have him make a bar.
Yeah, it's either gonna be like pinball machines or have Dan design a bar like out of pinball parts.
There you go.
So either way, it's gonna be cool.
All right. So Nick, what's a pinball lifestyle agreement?
Well, let's talk about why there is a pinball lifestyle agreement. It's kind of a cautionary tale. So if you're single, pay attention. Or if you're planning on getting divorced, this might be relevant. If you're married, you're kind of screwed right now.
Oh man,
potentially.
It's too late.
So let's tell a tale about a gentleman named Jay Fairbrother, and this is going back to 2013. Jay had his fiance at the time, Laura, and we were out at a bar on St. Patrick's Day. We probably were drinking. It's possible. And Jay was trying to get pinball machines. He wanted to have pinball machines, and for some reason, he has to ask another adult if he can have a pinball machine.
Were they engaged at that point?
They were engaged.
Okay.
Jay has it's just what I don't understand. Jay has a job, and he's got his, but I don't know why he has to ask if he can buy a pinball machine, and I think he owned the house, so makes no sense to me.
Okay.
But I digress. So Laura's like, when we're married, you can have 10 pinball machines, and I heard it, and I was like, yep, there you go.
There you go.
And Kevin, how many pinball machines does Jay have?
2?
That's just a miracle.
Yeah.
He got married. He was only, and Laura said she tricked him.
They've been married for like 5 years now or 2, right?
Maybe 3, 4,
Okay.
4 maybe.
Yeah.
Laura blatantly said, I was like, Laura, when is he going to get the pinball machine? She's like, I lied. So, which is any good marriage is based on a good lie like that.
Yeah.
So
that's the foot you want to get off on.
Jay, people say we bully Jay. He got bullied by his wife. All right. So anyways, Jay did not have a pinball lifestyle agreement. And hence, he's stuck with, he's moved into a nice new house, large basement, 2 pinball machines.
He's got a golden eye and a blackjack.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he's ever going to have, probably. Unless he sells something. Maybe he can, I don't know.
He's not getting 10.
Yeah.
He's not
going to have a lineup.
He's
not going to have a Bonebusters in his lineup. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to help him move it in his house if he tried.
Right. So, how is the pinball lifestyle agreement going to solve this issue?
Yeah, I learned from Jay's mistake, all right? And I moved in with Martha a little over 2 years ago. But before doing so, I made sure we got some things hammered out. So we came up, and before I moved in, she had to sign a pinball lifestyle agreement. Okay. And she anticipated. She's an draw so she was happy to draw up a contract.
But this was your idea?
Yeah.
I always assumed it was Martha's idea.
Actually, you know what? I don't know. I think because I showed some hesitancy, and I would bring up, like, I learned from Jay. I was like, I don't want to get in Jay's situation. She's like, well, maybe she was like, we'll put up a pinball lifestyle agreement.
It seems like she would take the initiative on this.
Okay, you're right. This sounds more Martha than me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read everybody the pinball lifestyle agreement. I'm going to show it to
you.
You
show it on stream first, yeah. So there you go. It's framed up. You see this in the hallway.
As soon as you go down to the basement, like you open the basement door, and this is the first thing you see.
Can you tilt it up a little bit so we can see the Jersey Jag neon? There you go.
Oh yeah, this is Jersey Jag neon. All right.
So read it to us.
So maybe we can put this like a framework of this on the site. So it says this, and feel free to interject and ask questions. We'll elaborate in certain situations. Pinball lifestyle agreement. This agreement is made between Nick Lane and Martha Donovan here and after the parties,
in quotes,
regarding the acquisition and placement / storage of pinball machines in, and that's my address, so I'm not going to say that, here and after the premises.
Okay.
All right, so good lawyer talk.
Yep.
You know it's serious.
Oh, yeah, it's serious.
You know that
talk.
We're not messing around.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Martha Donovan hereby agrees to accommodate at the premises all pinball machines acquired by Nick Lane through purchase or babysitting. That is key. All right, listen, you got to get that caveat, babysitting, in case you get into the pinball babysitting business. Something comes in temporarily. That way, if you just had purchase and be like, oh, you don't own it, it's not coming in.
Yep.
It's good.
That Revenge from Mars would not be sitting back there right now because that's not mine.
Exactly. The parties agree that if storage space becomes an issue, the party requesting installation of additional machines may be required to expend funds to accommodate and or augment the existing premises.
Seems fair.
Which, ironically, this was Martha wanted to buy Bad Girls, and we didn't have space for it, so I said, you're going to have to clean up that like extra room in the house and turn it into a pinball room.
It's in the agreement.
It's in the agreement. Yeah. She had to augment that.
That's right.
She was in there painting the room for the new games.
Yep, I saw it. You see it on stream this past week. Yep.
That's because we got an agreement.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, this is notarized.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah. Of course it is.
It's legit.
Yeah.
All right. Continuing on. It is agreed by the parties that Williams makes amazing games, and that although neither party currently owns a Williams pinball machine, one or more may someday acquire such a machine. The parties hereby agree that such changes will be made to the existing premises as needed to accommodate the wide head of Williams machines, so that it is not necessary to remove the head from the body of the game in order to install the machine on the premises.
Right. So you have an older house that has narrow doorways, and that's where this came from, right?
So that was a concern.
Yeah.
And she agreed. She really liked, like, for instance, Whirlwind, and it's got the topper and all that. So it's accounted for.
Yeah, because we've had to take trim molding off of doors to get.
Yeah, there's been
games
some
through,
damage
so,
getting games
yeah.
in the house. And, it's
damage to the house, not the games.
Yeah, damage to the house, right? House damage.
Yeah.
All
Not
right.
the pinball machines.
The parties reserve the right to negotiate at that future time which party will bear the cost of any such modifications to the premises. Okay, all good. No
Yep.
issues.
Makes sense.
The parties agree that due to the large size and questionable entertainment value of GotG machines, in parentheses, other than classics such as Countdown, any purchase of a GotG machine will require future discussion and negotiation between the parties. So this is very wise of Martha. She came up with this caveat because she's seen some of the real stinkers that GotG put out in the 90s.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking
Bonebusters.
about.
Do you think a Bonebusters could never come in my house? She'd rip this off the wall and be like, no. We're going to have a discussion. It's going to be shot down. That's it. Bad Girls, we both agreed on it.
Yeah.
Bad
See,
Girls is
T.O.
in there.
Pinhead, they had a discussion about it, and they both agreed that that was allowed in the house, therefore it's in the house.
And thank God this has been brought up ahead of time, so there's been no argumentation over pinball machines. It's been great. The parties agree that the premises may be used to host pinball events, including but not limited to tournaments, league nights, and Twitch streams. The number of pinball events held at the premises that are eligible for IFPA points will not exceed 4 events annually. Perfectly reasonable.
1 1/4. Yeah, that's reasonable.
The parties agree that all pinball events eligible for IFPA points will be private, registration-only events and will be limited to 26 people. That's before I think some of the rules changed, so it is so sort of.
Well, you can list an IFPA event as private, and you can limit the number of people to register. So that's within the rules.
Okay. There will be no annual limit to the number of pinball events held at the premises that are not eligible for IFPA points, and the details of such events will be negotiated between the parties at that future time.
Okay.
All visitors to the premises attending pinball events will be required to remove outdoor footwear in a designated area before entering the premises. Very reasonable, yeah. The parties agree to enforce the no outdoor shoes rule in the premises at all times. All visitors to the premises attending pinball events will be asked to abide by a modesty dress code.
This is key.
Okay, so the parties agree that any violators of the modesty dress code may be asked to cover the offending areas or leave the premises. So we had some problems with some plumber's crack, as it's been referred to by some folks.
Yeah.
And that's been offending to Martha.
Yeah.
So they might be asked to leave.
I can appreciate putting that in there.
Yeah, you got to have a modesty dress code.
Yeah.
Extremely reasonable, and it was signed by us on May 14th, 2015.
Yep.
And
And
it's
notarized
really
and
Yeah.
good to go. So
And framed and notarized.
Yep.
It's all good.
So before you get committed in a relationship, men or women, either way.
Get that shit in writing.
That's right. You want pinball machines in your house?
Yeah.
Get it nailed down. Get yourself a
Don't
pinball
pull a
lifestyle
J.
game.
Don't go in that without a contract in hand.
Don't be a Jay and Laura. Be a Nick and Martha.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
that is. All right. The more you know. All right. It's review time. And not only is it review time.
Oh, I'm excited.
Ooh, boy. We're
So let's give it. So we had a review intro made because we need a review intro, right?
Yeah.
We're that fancy.
Oh, super. Come on.
And we want to thank Todd O'Massey from Head Colors TV. That's his YouTube channel. We've seen Todd's videos before, and they're very well done. And he was nice enough to create this for us at a very, very low cost.
So
very discount.
Yeah, he does. He not only does he do like gaming YouTube content, but he also does video and print and all sorts of crazy, awesome design. So you're gonna see his work here, and you're gonna see it going forward on our review. So let's get into our review of Whitewater. Let's go.
Sweet.
Right.
So the song from that video was done by Jordan Natoli's band Newish Star. So which if it sounds familiar, it's because he also does our intro song, and it's called a song is called Eye Exam. It's from I think Dr. Dude and his Excellent Ray.
Yeah.
I think that's the album it's from.
That's the inspiration.
You guys can find that on Bandcamp.
Yep. So awesome Buffalo Punk. Thank you, Jordan and company. So we're going to talk about Whitewater. Whitewater is a 1993 Williams classic. And shout out to Pinball Mike D. He does these amazing pinball restorations, and I found his awesome album of whitewater pictures, so that's where these come from.
Cool, thank you. And this is also we want to thank our Patreon
Yes.
subscribers at the $5 level. They got to vote on what game we review this month, and they all chose Whitewater. So there you go.
They have good taste.
It was going to be the option. Other option was Bone Busters, and then I think World Cup Soccer. Yeah, and so actually it was Attack last week suggested Whitewater. So there you go, Attack.
Good job, Attack.
You got your wish.
Oh, I screwed up the link. Well, there you go. Patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball. So yeah, this is a Dennis Nortman design, right? I think he's the one that did Whitewater. But it's got awesome Greg Ferris art, I lied, John Yowsey art. And it's an amazing looking and playing game. I get hyped every time I play it. But let's begin, as we always do, by talking about the art. What do you think?
I think the art is. I like the style it conveys. It's a fun-looking pinball machine. You put it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just there's some pinball machines that convey just fun, and as opposed to like a serious tone or intense or whatever. This is just all fun, man. It's got some humor in it. It's colorful. I think it looks great. I think it does that job that it needs to do.
Yeah, I love it. I love the whole look and feel of this game with the mountains in there, and you look at some of the modern games and you go, "Where's all the stuff in a pinball machine?" And I think to a certain extent that's overrated. But then you look at a game like this and you're like,
"That's the plastic molded mountains."
It helps create that quote unquote world under glass. That
Yeah,
people
it helps draw you in. The interesting thing on this game is that the name of the game, Whitewater, is nowhere to be found on the game.
It's not. It
was like the only way you'll see it is on the topper, but it's not in the back glass.
Yeah, let's see. There's a topper
there's
there.
There's some. Which, by the way, I mean that we can put that in art, I guess, art or toy. But topper is really cool for this game too when you have it on there.
I would say my favorite pinball topper. I'm gonna say that's my favorite.
Okay,
because it's got that awesome lighting effect that makes it look like falling water, which is great.
It's a cool one, no doubt. Yeah.
It's a unique choice that they decided not to put the name on the back glass. So if you don't have the topper on the game,
weird.
You're like, what game is this?
Yep.
But, we all know it's Whitewater, and it says it on the side of the cabinet really huge. So kudos to the art package. Sound. Whitewater! Head for the blinking light, right?
Yeah, good sound.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an early 90s Williams DMD, so, for its time, it's good. It's got call-outs. It says what to do. It's immersive.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's got the upbeat kind of like twangy banjo-y kind of music. That's what I think of when I think of the Whitewater music. Lots of, watery sound effects and stuff when you're going into the whirlpool ramp. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Draws you in.
Yeah. I like all the audio and call-outs on this. So I remember the call-outs for this game. So anytime I hear Whitewater, I think, head for the blinking light, because that's what it says after it calls out the game in there. Man overboard, grab hold of him. Yeah, that's Two Rivers. Yeah, all that stuff. So you guys know what's up. Bigfoot's Bluff. I've got a light. There you go. All that stuff.
We don't have one on location at all.
We don't. We have one at Mark Nagy's house, though, so that's almost as good.
Yeah. Well, even better in some ways.
Yeah. You guys should get one.
You should.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
I'd be in support of that.
We'll see. You don't see them for sale that often.
That's true. They're only going up in price. So let's talk toys.
So the toys on the game. Not a major toy. You've got Bigfoot up there who looks like Bigfoot but with Dennis Norman's face. Right. So he's
there he is.
He diverts the ball. So it's cool. It's funny. It's not any super impressive toys on it.
Yeah, it's less about toys and more about awesome ramps and shots.
Yes, awesome ramps and shots. I mean,
it's got the whirlpool.
The way the ramps are molded, the size of the ramps, how the ramps are going, how the ball feeds the flippers.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, the whirlpool. That's sort of where the focus is, rather than a cool toy.
Right. Agreed. It's got all these swirling ramps, and the one on the left that goes up and down really high and taps the glass as it's going. It's so great. That's more about the layout of the game. But let's talk about DMD and lighting. I don't know. I don't.
Nothing memorable.
Nothing.
To me.
No really standout lighting moments in this game for me.
No DMD. Nothing memorable either.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of early. Like 93 is still pretty early DMD.
Yeah.
So there's not amazing art on the DMD, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty. You got the man falling overboard. I remember that part, right?
Yeah, where he's like in the river, like,
Yeah.
you gotta rescue him.
But I don't know. I'm just. That's a good point. Like, what's so super memorable right now? Even it's not like you play the game all the time. We don't have it in our collection, but
the match. I remember the match where he's like doing the bowling.
Oh, the Bigfoot bowling.
Bigfoot bowling.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's cool.
And that speaks to the tone of the game. It's just fun, lighthearted theme, perfect for adults or children or wherever. Like it's welcome in any collection, right?
Yep. So good, not great on the DMD and lighted is what I would say. Gameplay. We started talking about this a little bit, but what do you think about when you think about the gameplay of Whitewater?
I think the gameplay is great. It's a fast game. It's easy to kind of drain on it because some of the feeds that come out. I like sort of how the game kicks off with the skill shot. It's a challenging skill shot in a way where you're not trying to plunge too hard. You're trying to plunge the feed to the upper right flipper. So it's kind of fun. It definitely takes skill to do that, and then to kind of start off right by hitting the shot that you need off that flipper. I like it. There's flow to the game. It's fast. It's got that interesting upper playfield, which is not like the ball. The ball doesn't get stuck up there. It's up in the upper playfield for like a second, and then you're just trying to hit key shots and keep it going. I like this game a lot, man. It's a game I will always play because I think just the layout and the shots are great in it.
Yeah, I always have a blast playing this game. I love the layout of it. It's one of the first games I ever played competitively when we went to the Canadian tournament way back in like 2013 or whatever it was. I remember playing this, and you're like, hit the stand-ups on either side of the ramp, and then hit it in the middle to get multi-ball. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that.
I don't think I don't know if there's a lot to shoot for. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a ton going on and a ton of shots.
Yeah, a lot of them feed back up
fair.
to that upper ramp or the upper playfield, but the upper playfield's fun as
well.
So I like getting it up there.
Yeah, it doesn't take away for the fun though.
Yeah,
because of lack. So I mean, what's there is really fun to shoot.
Yes, agreed.
It's a great. I mean, that picture that you have up right now, that's a great. I mean, it just looks great.
It's an amazing. I love the layout on this game.
I love how this game looks.
Yes,
it looks great in a collection.
Mm-hmm. And people will like mod it out with like the winter theme sometimes too, and that looks cool too. Rules.
Attack saying it's hard to shop.
Oh yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, I bet it is. There's a lot of levels, a lot of ins and outs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think on the rules?
Rules. It's funny when we talk about some of these Williams games or some of the games from the '90s. The rules are there. It's not. It's dated compared to what we expect in rules today from a pinball machine. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of hard to talk about. But the rules are good. It's not like there's anything broken in it. I think competitively when you're playing and somebody gets that 5x playfield, I sort of have like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? It's just a bad break, and that's gonna be frustrating. But the rules are good. The rules are fun. You're progressing through the game. It's just like any game of its time period before you get to something like Monster Bash or Medieval Madness, where you're getting to more sophisticated rules.
I get hyped when I start multi-ball and you want to crank it into those jackpot shots right off as they feed 1, 2, 3 up to that upper playfield, and you're trying to nail that shot to get the jackpots. I love that.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's super fun. 5 times the fun. See, everybody knows the call outs for this game. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. And like, but there's some depth to this game, like trying to collect all the rafts on the river, and there's other things you can do other than just go for multi-ball and jackpots and things like that. Building up, I don't understand all the rules, but I know there's like a vacation jackpot that you're trying to get to. That's kind of at the end of the game, I guess.
Okay, maybe I don't know that part. I mean, it seems like there's multi-ball, and then you're just hitting the shots to advance the river.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's sort of what it kind of is, but.
Yeah, vacation jackpot is what everybody talks about.
It's not bad rules.
Trying to get to it. Yeah, for sure. It's like early '90s rules.
Yeah, for its time, it's good.
Yeah, I think there's definitely more to this game than I know just from playing it in competition. I would like to own this for a while and figure more of it out. So that is gameplay, or no, that was rules. Let's talk about lastability.
So I think that's what keeps me from getting this game. Mm-hmm. It's fun to play in other collections. I'm always happy to play a game on it. I like playing in competition, despite somebody getting the 5x playfield. But I can see myself getting bored of it, and the reason I'd maybe keep it around in collection is just basically how it looks and what it is, versus my desire to play the game and really explore. I think rule wise, it's too simplistic for my taste, which is why I don't have like games from the 90s really. I'm the type of player that requires more depth for a game to be in my home collection. So Modern Stern, Modern JJP, that's sort of where I'm at. But I have a lot of respect for it. I just don't think I'll ever own it.
I'm kind of the opposite. I appreciate games that have a more simple rule set too. So, I've got an Addams Family. It's probably never leaving. It's not the most complex game, but I love it. And I could see Whitewater kind of falling into that same category for me. Unfortunately, the price keeps going up.
What is it now? Like, what do you? I haven't even looked at it.
I think it's around 5 now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. When a couple years ago when we got into this, it was like 3.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're competing with a new game at that point.
Yeah.
New games like a new Stern Pro that has like an LCD and more complex rules, and I don't know. Although, but barren playfield.
Yeah, that's the downside is at that price range, you're competing with a brand new game. So
that's the problem, right? I think fundamentally, like solid state machines, I like them, right? Mm-hmm. They have super simple rules. All right, way simpler than like Whitewater. Yeah. But the game's like $1,000, so I can get 5. You're telling me I can get like 5 good solid state machines for 1 Whitewater? That I think that becomes the difficult part of like owning a machine like that.
Yeah, the thing for me about Whitewater though is it's got the character that I love so much. The stuff like dialed in.
See, Namus called me out. I didn't even see that, Namus, but I was anticipating that comment because I do have classic games. But it's just the cost, the cost to own one game with basic rules versus 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. So like the plus that it's got going is it's got that character, it's got the humor, and it's just fun to play that you don't find in a lot of games these days. So that's I think what draws people to this game a lot.
So you should totally buy it, Kevin.
Totally. Yeah.
I agree. I support Kevin getting this game.
I would buy it.
I think Kevin should get it for his collection.
Somebody get me a good deal on one and I'll buy one. All right. So where would you rate it overall? Let's go to our website and show the rating scale. It's right down here.
All right, so 0 to 2 is burn it, set it on fire. 3 to 5 is expensive nightlight. 6 to 8 is a solid game. 9 to 10 is buy it. Kevin, go ahead.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think Whitewater is at the top of the solid game. I don't think it's run out and buy it, especially at the current price, but it's a great game. I love it. Highly recommend it. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Buy it if you have the means.
Totally agree. I'm giving it an 8 as well. It's just falls short of that. I'm going to buy it and put it in my collection, but ton of respect for it. It's a really good, solid game. Great. Always happy to see it in somebody's collection. Always happy to see it out in the wild. So that's Whitewater.
There you go. Whitewater is great. All right. And that concludes your Buffalo Pinball review.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into viewer and listener feedback, emails, tweets, Discord posts. We'll start off with emails. The first one comes from Aaron Nicholas. He says, so I was listening to your last episode when you guys were talking about the new JJP, Jersey Jack Pinball, Pirates of the Caribbean. I agree with your impressions and it looks like a great game. I was curious to something, though, that was said as far as how quick this game is for a wide body. I understand that some can be a tad floaty, but if the game was set up at a standard level and wax as well as add Titan rubber, I think the ball would fly around the playfield like a greased chicken. That is his direct quote.
Okay.
I did this with all my games, especially my Ruby Red, Wizard of Oz, and it is day and night.
Cool.
Keep up the great work, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
So
no points to argue with on that.
Yeah, and actually, let's see, Destroyer of Worlds later on from Discord. He says, what's an ideal way of keeping pinball interesting or making it interesting, increasing the slope of the playfield? And so this kind of plays along those lines. If you have a game and you feel like you're just like playing it forever, and ironically enough, on Twitter the other day, Keith Johnson from Jersey Jack, the programmer there, great, legendary pinball programmer, he said he's sick of hearing people complain about how Hobbit is so long playing. He's like, it's a long playing, take the center post out, steepen the game, change the settings, change the rubber, the outlane settings, things like that. You can customize a machine to make it play however you want, basically. Yeah. So if you're finding a game is playing too long for your tastes, you can make changes.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah. That's what's cool about it. They drill other holes where you can put the posts so you can move it.
Look at
you don't have to destroy your machine, right? They're pre-drilled. They're meant to be adjusted. You can turn the ball saver off.
Look at the Hobbit that was on the stage for Pinburg and tell me that's a long playing game.
People, seriously,
the best players in the world were like getting destroyed by that game.
But it's such a weird thing if they're complaining about being a long playing game. That's what Hobbit is. It's 3 movies that it's based on. Yeah. And like those movies are like a long slog. It's a real journey. It's an adventure. So you're designing around that theme. You're not going to make a game that's brutal like Iron Man and call it The Hobbit. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it fits the theme. And I was talking at League Night to a League member who's thinking about getting a Hobbit, and he knew obviously we had it for a while and played it a lot. He's like, "What did you think? Would you get it?" And I go, "Absolutely, especially for the prices they're going for now." He's like, it's getting well, I won't talk about the price, but it's a limited edition Smaug for
a steal,
a ridiculously low price. He's like, "Would you buy it?" Yes, because it kind of puts me into an adventure, and like I get immersed in that game like no other game that I ever have really played. So I think a lot of it has to do with like wearing headphones and playing too, because you just kind of get lost in the sound effects. So if you have a Hobbit or if you have access to one, I highly recommend putting some headphones on and giving that a try. So check out The Hobbit. All right. Oh, P.S. And I think this is a direct question for you, Nick. It says, if I wanted to give money for a certain game review, how would I go about doing that?
I mean, it's like you just made my day asking that question. So Aaron and anybody else, if you want to support the channel or the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball, and there's a section to become a Patreon. And all you do is you pop in that credit card info, and you select how much you want to support us a month, from anywhere from $1 onwards. If you do it at the $5 level, then you'll get to choose which game we review a month. Basically, we do this. We ask, I reach out to our folks during a live Twitch stream, and I say, give me some suggestions for games. Then I'll narrow it down to 3 that I know well and Kevin knows well. And then we'll put it on there for our Patreon subscribers who are at that level, and they will vote, and that's the one we do. And then we always don't, sometimes we give, the other options we'll leave in the voting for next month, or sometimes they don't come back for a while. So you can influence what we review and what we talk about.
There you go. Thank you for that, Aaron. You made Nick's day. All right. Our next email is from the one, the only Eric S. Russell. He says, I really enjoyed the interview with Eric from Jersey Jack Pinball. I like what they're doing with their approach to code and game design. Game and code design. I switched those. I think the best way I can sum it up is saying that listening to that interview really made me want to buy the game. And I don't usually get that urge without having played a decent amount. So
that was nice.
Yeah.
If someone took their time to write something nice and not complain.
Oh
my God. Thank you. Eric's a good guy. We appreciate that, Eric.
Josh Sharp says this is a thankless job, but that was kind of a thanks. It was a nice comment.
It was a nice comment.
Yeah.
It was positivity.
Yes.
We get those positive vibes.
There's a lot of drama in pinball if you didn't know, if you hadn't heard. We have a great community, but there's still some drama. All right. Let's get into the Discord comments from Attack 7777. You got to say all the sevens. He says, what game that's generally loved by the pinball community just doesn't do anything for you? And you're not allowed to say Star Wars or Ghostbusters, and let's say nothing newer than 3 years old.
So what instantly came to mind is Simpsons for me. Let me put it this way. I respect Simpsons, but it doesn't do anything for me. It seems it's too stop and go. It seems like, I know Pinball Machine's a mechanical machine, but I just feel like I hit a shot, and it's very like hit a shot, and then I don't know, it's just robotic or something to it. And the machine's sort of great the way the theme's incorporated into it. I get why people like it.
Yep.
I totally do, and I have a lot of respect for that machine. It's just not my style, and I don't really care for it personally.
I would agree with that one. How I tackled this question was I went to Pinside, and I went to the top 100, and I started at the top, and I worked my way down until I found a game that I went, eh. And for me, that was AC/DC.
Yeah.
AC/DC, again, I get why people like it. I see tournament players, they love it. I played against Adam Becker on it, and he destroyed it at the fall brawl. But for me, it's just never clicked. It's never been like, oh, I love this.
Well, listen, it's not just you, because we put an AC/DC out on location at GameOn, and it's made like no money in the mix of like 9 games.
Yeah, so
it's going to go to another place, and hopefully it does better. And it's the pro. Maybe the premium would have done more, but it's just they don't like it.
Yeah,
with like the clientele there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, there you go. Fugel had the inverse question. He says, the inverse of your question is also an interesting one. What game is widely hated, but you have a soft spot for it?
Big Buck Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy, man. By the way, I don't think I said this on the podcast. I said it on the stream because I was streaming it last week, and I generally had a really good time playing that game, and I love that game. When we did our top 10 Sterns, I think I artificially rated it low because of like the perceived hate in the game. That's a top 5 game. That game is definitely in my top 5.
We're going to look at what we rated it. Where is it? Big Buck Hunter was the second game we ever rated, and you gave it a 7.5, and I gave it a 7.
In my book, in my opinion, I understand what the community. I own it, and it's a keeper for me. So it's like a 9 in like the Nick tilt, but in trying to rate it, I think it's an 8, a solid game.
Okay.
I don't know. I love that game, and I think some of it is it's really tough, and it can really kick your ass. So I can understand it being on location and not working right, or just being brutal and having short game times and people being frustrated by it. I'm sure there's other reasons people don't like it, but find one that works the way it should, like a home use one. Spend some time with it. I try to I advocate for that game because I don't think it's getting the love that it deserves, and it's way better than it's kind of notorious for. It's like 200 some on Pinside.
And you're trying to push it up to 10K by Christmas. I think that's what you're really doing.
I'll be honest right now. I wouldn't. If somebody offered me $6,000 for the game, I wouldn't sell it, which sounds stupid and crazy, but I like the game that much, and I'm not going to find another home. I see them pop up once in a while,
right?
But you're not going to find these games. There're not a lot of them. So it's one when I go down to my basement, I often find myself playing over other games.
Yep, I get it. Especially when you got a game you love that much in that great a shape, it's really hard to part with it. So.
And I had it for like almost 3 years now.
Oh wow, well, you're not a big buyer and seller though. You tend to hang on to your games.
I do.
Yeah,
it's true though.
I buy and sell games a lot more than you do.
It's because it's easier for you, one thing, but
yeah.
still.
Yeah, I don't have to haul them out of a basement for sure. All right, so I did the opposite of this. I went to the bottom of the Pinside top 100, which is like in the 400s somewhere. And I worked my way up from the bottom. And just a few from the bottom, guess what was there? Hard Body.
You never even played Hard Body that much.
I played Hard Body.
You played it enough to say that?
No, but I love it.
All right. But you like it because it's like Hard Body and it's ridiculous.
It is. There's something to be said for a good ridiculous game. I have Bone Busters in my collection. Damn it.
I respect you. I respect weird choices in games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know that.
Uh-huh. It's got flex arms and biceps and moaning and weightlifting. What more do you want in a pinball machine?
No comment.
Double Danger Pinball has one. I hope he's still
I want a Bad Girls pinball machine with a pool table and that it's constructed out of a mirror.
There you go.
A mirrored side panel.
Yes.
That's what I want.
There you go. You got it. All right.
And Jay Kush said ACDC doesn't earn, Ghostbusters does. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters earns on GameOn. It's one of our top earners, and the other one is Monopoly. Go figure.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. All right. Let's see. We talked about Destroyer of Worlds. Luigi, shout out to you. Wildcat. All right. This is the question you've all been waiting for. He says, who would win in a cage fight, Rudy from Funhouse or Rudy Soup?
Rudy Soup's a real person, so I'm thinking he can mess up the talking head. Rudy.
See, I have to disagree because
you've thought about this.
The Rudy from Funhouse, Rudy Soup would see Rudy from Funhouse and get frightened and run away.
I don't know him that well.
Yeah,
you roomed with him, didn't you?
I did. We shared a room.
Yeah.
You
shared more than just a room. It sounds like. All right.
we shared stories.
Your thoughts and desires.
Yeah. So we shared our inner stories.
Thoughts, fears.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Your passions.
Yes, all those. All right. Life Forcer's got a great question too. He says, "How many bones would a bone buster bust if a bone buster could bust bones?" I said, "I have no idea." All right. Speaking of Rudy, he says on Twitter, have you guys considered saving 15% or more by switching to Geico? And I said, do they insure pinball machines? And he says they do. He said there's a whole thread on Pitside about pinball insurance. So I guess you can save 15% on your pinball insurance if you switch to Geico. All right. That brings us to the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. But before we go, why don't you give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to our channel if you want to watch tons of gameplay videos. We've got the archive of our Jersey Jack pinball reveal. If you haven't seen it, it's up there. It's almost caught up to the video of me playing Pinball Arcade. That's our most popular videos.
It's funny.
Check that out. Subscribe to our Twitch channel. Follow our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. We're on Facebook. We have a group, facebook.com/group/Buffalo Pinball. I've got a special request of everybody today. If you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching us on Twitch or YouTube, jump over to iTunes and give us a review. If you like what you're listening to, give us a 5-star review. We would appreciate it. Help bump us up in the standings. Help people find us more easily. If you don't want to give us a 5-star review, just never mind.
So here's a good question. Let's end on this. How do I convince my family to buy a pin?
Ooh.
Are you a kid? Are you an adult? If you're an adult with a job, you don't have to convince them. You've got a job and you've got money. So you just go and do it.
If you're a kid and you're trying to convince your parents, I don't know.
It's a good question. Say, listen, it keeps me off the streets.
Yeah.
Okay. Better for me to be playing pinball.
I like that.
Than to be out there doing God knows what.
Yep. It keeps me away from the drugs.
Keeps it away from the drugs. Yep.
Tell your parents you want to have the cool house that all your friends want to come over to, so then they'll be able to keep an eye on you and all your friends.
Yeah, and I mean, you can just say, listen, pinball machines, the way the market has been for years and years and years, if you buy it and you pay the appropriate price, the market value price, it's going to hold its value.
Yep.
It might even go up, especially the Williams and Bally's right now.
That's right.
It's not a guaranteed.
Nope.
It's not an investment, but that's what's been happening. I don't see that changing anytime soon, provided we don't get into like nuclear war or something. All right? But, so that's the thing. So if your family has money and they're worried about it, you say, you need to sell it. Something comes up, you can sell it, and it's there. It's not a bad way to put some money.
Yep.
You can play with your money rather than just putting it in the bank,
Exactly. It's way more fun having it in a pinball machine than in your bank account. That's what I always say.
I don't know if that helps. I hope it does, but we tried.
Yep. And play on location, CW1 says, let's take your family out, play on location, get them hooked.
That's true. That is really good. If you can convince the decision maker in your family to get hooked on pinball, then your odds increase exponentially. Or rally all the other family members and just whine and complain until you wear that person down who is the decision maker. It's another option.
Victorious in chat says his collection has done better than his retirement fund. That's amazing.
Seriously. Well, some people got in, oh my God, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Man. You're like rolling in your pinball money. I love it. All right, guys. So, if you got a question, comment, feedback, you can email us, talkpinball@gmail.com. We have a special promotion going right now with our friend Scott from Pin Stadium. He's been kind enough to donate an entire Pin Stadium kit with the GI integration and the UV plus glow flashers. Go to pinstadium.com/buffalo_pinball. We'll put a link for that in the show notes and the YouTube description, Twitch description, etc. But click it on that, enter some information. You'll be entered to win. It's like a $150 to $200 value somewhere in there. Thank you to Scott for doing that. Again,
I'll give another shout out since you brought up Scott. So he says he's running a Black Friday special, 15% off.
Ooh, nice.
He's going to update the Buffalo code for those days. I think he's doing that. So why don't you just reach out to him and we'll make this simple. Say, hey, I heard the Buffalo Pinball podcast. They said that you're doing a Black Friday sale for 15% off. How do I get that?
Yep. And Scott will email you back in 3.5 seconds.
He's awesome.
Guaranteed. Yes.
He's awesome. I'll tell you this. I respect anybody who has good communication skills and is responsive. Kevin's like that.
Yep.
I'm like that.
Yep.
Our partners are like that. It's a good skill to have in life.
Yes. And so sub and follow our Twitch channel. And we talked about Patreon before, but if you wanted to support the podcast and what we do, patreon.com/Buffalo.
Patreon's the way to do it, guys. If you take 5 minutes out of your day and just give us $1, anytime I see somebody new, it kind of encourages us that we're doing something of value and putting it out there. So enjoy. Have a good Thanksgiving. Be safe. We'll see you in a month to wrap up the year in 2017.
All right.
Sounds good?
Thanks. Take it easy.
Later.